So the Crow got top of the stack, and I'll be reviewing these other ones here. So I don't know if you can see that. That's Blink Twice, Alt Right, and Godzilla -1. And I don't know what James is doing here, but I'm going to talk about this book that I'm reading a little bit. This is a Penguin Classics book, Jabberwocky and Other Nonsense Collected Poems by Lewis Carroll, who, that wasn't his real name, but...
I think it was Charles Dodgson, something like that.
That's right. And apparently he preferred to be called Dodson.
Dodson.
Okay. Yeah, because he didn't like people saying Dodgson, because it wasn't Dodgson, because it doesn't have the E.
Well, and judgment, it doesn't have the E either.
I know.
It really doesn't.
So, yeah, well, I got that out of here, reading this. Yeah. So, anyway. But what I was just explaining to James is that I was doing double acrostics poems today. Well, puzzles, not poems. You might think of an acrostics as being a poem, but it isn't. Unless you make it one. I mean, you can make it. Yeah, I did. I made acrostics. So you can do that. But a double acrostics, I haven't done a double acrostics poem yet, and maybe I will. But anyway, I don't know where I came across it in here. But a double acrostics, apparently they were popular at the time when he was writing the Alice stuff, and so he did them too. I guess a lot of people did. And with the double acrostics, you have words that have the same amount of letters, bookending. So you have these two words, one on each side. And then you fill in with each of the letters. So say you have 5-letter words or whatever. So then you'd have 5 words going across. And they don't have to be words going down in the middle, because that would be very complicated, but they have to be words going across. And so they have to start with the letter on this side and end with, right. And so that's all it is, right? It's just a little puzzle that you could do if you have a little notebook and a pencil. You could do them anywhere. You could just sit down and go, okay, well, I'm going to do these 2 words, right? And
Did
just
you?
Fill it in.
Oh, sorry. Did you put a bookmark where you want?
I have 2 bookmarks because I have this one.
Okay.
Well, I can read this poem,
This
I guess.
This section is where the acrostics are.
Oh.
I don't know if you'll be able.
Well, I must have come across it in here then. So, because I didn't read very far into it. You know what? It does not matter anyway. It doesn't matter. So
maybe next time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can find it in here if you want to, but you could find it online. And so in how they showed it in this book, you don't have to have the same number of letters in the words going across. So the one word going across might have only 3 letters, but it has to have the one at the beginning and the one at the end. That's the beginning. And the next word could have 5, and one could have 4, whatever, right? So anyway, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, and I'm not going to try to find it, but I do have a bookmark for a poem that I found interesting, and it was called The Rectory Umbrella, and I really found it interesting. I've almost went through, I've went through probably 3/4 of this book so far. And I found it really interesting to learn about how he progressed as a poet, and like when he started and how he started. Like he had a lot of siblings, and so he would write like these little poems and stuff for his younger siblings, right? He'd try to entertain them with little stories and stuff like that, and that's nice. And anyway, then I found it interesting looking at this stuff and going, well, that's, that ended up being a part of Alice later on, but it was written way earlier, or this part was written, whatever, right? So I found that interesting too, and maybe James would be better reading this, because the Rectory Umbrella, what he did here, this is very interesting, and he's done this a few times. So he has a lot of footnotes in Well, I imagine I don't know. I don't know if he included, when he released this, it says 1850 to 53 for this one. Or maybe just the Penguin people decided, oh, I should put that in so that people actually know what he's talking about. But he was trying all sorts of things. So, James, do you want to try to read that? Or you don't have glasses? Oh my gosh.
I'll go.
So, okay. So James will
Please
try
watch
to,
out.
because he'll be better reading this because he would know a lot of these old-fashioned words.
I
So
don't know about a lot of them.
he would. So whereas I may not pronounce them correctly, I would just sound silly.
A
I
lot
like-
of those old-fashioned words I've never heard pronounced.
Oh, I suppose that's true, wouldn't it be?
Who would
Because
use
who would
them?
use them? Yeah. So, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Did you want to read it anyway, or you want me
Look
to?
at it.
Okay.
So
So there's
which one do you want me to read? Where
the
you're
Rectory umbrella.
Oh, there we go.
It's, yeah, so you'll see what I'm,
Well,
What's
that's
so
an overall thing. Which poem? The Storm or the first one?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the first one.
Okay, so it's got Y-E, and they'll have ye old bookshop, but actually that's just an old-fashioned way of writing the.
Mm.
So it's the fatal chase is what it would be. Ye fatal chase. You can check that one up on the internet. Maybe you'll run across. It was a murk and dreary cave. So murk is murky. Dreary is just written in a weird kind of way. Wet. Wheat scrogus. Wheat, I think, is with. Scrogus or it creep. Ooh. Wheat scrogus. I don't know what scrogs are.
There
we go. Bushes. So that would be maybe related to scraggy or something like that. Or it creep. Wheat. I don't know. Gurgles within the flowing wave. Throw channel braid and deep. Broad and deep. Okay. Braid and deep. Throw is actually through. So it was a murky and dreary cave. Wheat, that might be white, scraggy, or it creep. Gurgles within the flowing wave through channel broad and deep. I can't quite make out the grammar. Never within that drear recess, so drear is dreary, was seen the light of day. So it was saying, ye light of day. Quat would be what, bode, I think. Azont, its murkiness. Azont, beyond. Name kend, ain nine mote say. So no one knew kend. So that's like no. Ain none, I think that would be. And none might say. The monarch rode, it's the monarch raid or break and bray. So bray is, I think, hill's brow or something like that. The monarch rode over break is, I think it's a kind of a bush or something like that, but I'm not sure. Break and bray. And drave the yelling pack. So and drove the yelling, it would be barking pack of dogs, I presume. His meanie o Richta Cadgilly. Okay, meanie. Company. Now that's a new one on me. O would be all, I think. It's company all right cagily, I bet. Let's see what that says. Merrily. Maybe cagey meant merry. Casually is how it's written. Richta would probably mean really. Are wending in his track. So they've got wending, they say it's going, but wending is kind of you wend your way, I think it's that sort of thing. In his track. In is spelled Y-N. With eager iya, which would be with eager eye. We yelp and cry, with yelp and cry. The ye Hondas yode down ye rocks. So the hounds yode. I'm not sure. I think it's just descended down the rocks. Let's see what it says. Went. It's just going or something like that. Ahead of all their company, which is ahead of all their company, runneth the Panky fox. Panky. I knew a guy, his last name was that. Spelled, I think, a little bit different. Panky. I don't know about that. What does it say? Much cunning. Panky. Weird. Okay. The fox, his.
I don't know if I'd want that as a last name.
Panky.
I don't think so.
Well, you can imagine.
Some people would like to be cunning, but I don't know.
What do you think is? Well, I know, but you can imagine what he was called at school. Hanky, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
No, his name was Hanky, so I figured he was called Hanky Panky, but it wasn't really Panky. I'm sorry. If you're watching, Kelly, I blew that one. Anyway, he would have got teased, but he was a teaser too. So Renneth would be ran the Panky fox, the Hanky Panky. Who knows? That might Panky actually might mean something. You know, you're up to Hanky Panky. You're up to
might be
cunning, some sort of cunning. You know? The fox has sought. It's H-E-S. I was going, what is that? Has. But if he has sought that cave of awe, I don't know. Is that just a form of awe? Okay. For wearied, that just means thoroughly wearied, I suspect. Much wearied. So the German actually have that, you know, like they have V-E-R, which can mean like, vergessen is like forget. And I think it actually means it's a form of far. So I forgot. What does that mean? But it's kind of far. It's gotten far from you or something like that.
Huh.
I've tried to figure it out because the Germans have the same thing.
That's
you know,
interesting.
like they have far too, fern, F-E-R-N, right? But they say they're V's unless they're borrowed like F's. So if they borrow one that says a V properly, you know, correct usage of the German is V. Anyway, the fox has sought that cave of awe, for wearied with his rin.
Oh, sorry.
His is H-I-Z. And wi is like the Scottish thing, you know, with is abbreviated to wi. Rin, I think, would be running or something like that. Qua now is he so bold and bra. Qua. Now is he qua. I think that would be a W, right? He's so bold and bra. Bra would be like brave, something like that. It's brave, exactly right. Although the Scottish use brave or bra as meaning good as well. From what I can gather. To dare to enter in. Qua now, I think it's why is he so bold and broad to dare to enter in? Qua, no, now. Now is spelled N-O-U. With eager bound has Ilka hond, that's Ilka is each. But I think it's actually just a weird form of like. But it's got the L and the K in it. It's just got a vowel at the beginning. The Greeks have done that with so many things, it's incredible. So they took navel and they turned it to onful, and then the PH changed the sound of the N to an M, omphalos. The OS at the end is just an ending for the noun. But it's probably a nominative case and stuff like that. So the real part of it, you'd call it the root is omphal. I guess it'd be also used as a stem. Omphal, but they've done that with any number of things. And until you start looking for it, you say, Greek is really different from all the Western Indo-European languages, and then you go, oh, it's more closely related than it first appears. With eager bound, he has each hound. So the hound gain is gone till that cavern drear. Till is two, right? I suspect our word two is just till with the L dropped off. I'm not sure. Full many yowl is heard around. Fu is full, so that means just a lot. Full many is a lot of many or something like that. Many, many. So they say full, but we don't use that. That's an old-fashioned usage. Full many a yowl. You'd hear that in Shakespeare, maybe even before, like Chaucer. Yowl is actually there, so they say howl. Yeah, you can figure that out. Is, they've actually got that footnoted. It's just is. It's spelled Y-S. Heard around. Full many a screech of fear, but that's fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like ain, that'd be one, A-N-E, like one with thirsty appetite, qua, so that'd be who. Okay, qua is who. So it's, like it's got Q-U-H-A. And, that will explain why Latin has, like for its question words, Q-U. Right?
Mm.
It's really the thing that's common to Indo-European is the W, but they put a Q there. And I'm telling you, I said this once to a guy back in the 80s. You know, Welsh, in the equivalent of Latin words, and Q that begin with Q, and Germanic words that begin with W, or in the case of English, German would be Vo, they'd say it like a V, but spelled with a W, has a P. And he said, oh, I think that's the case. It is funny, when people laugh at you when you're right.
Mm.
Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. I think I read that somewhere. Like one with thirsty appetite who swalloweth orange pulp, well, that's not bad, was heard a hugga and a bite. Huggle and a bite, a swallow and a gulp. Huggle, what would that be? A howl?
There's a footnote.
There's no footnote there.
Not for that one.
No.
Okay.
Was heard a huggle and a bite, a swallow and a gulp. The king has...
Maybe it's just a noise, though.
Huggle.
It's just a heard.
Well, they should footnote it, that one. Huggle. It's like a howl, but it doesn't fit. Believe me, in Germanic, there are lots of cases where the original Germanic looks to be something like a G, and then English has changed it to W. So, for example, trag, T-R-G-E-N, tragen, is the verb which means to drag, but it also means to wear clothing. And the Yiddish folks have changed that trag to drag. So he's in drag. He's
like
dragging
drag
clothing. But English actually has changed that to a Y. It's kept to the original, drag. It's changed it to a Y. Dray horse is something that drags something. Draw, see how it changed to a W too? So, and also a draft. Your draft, GH. Welcome to the world of linguistics, folks. I think like a draft horse. Well, you can actually spell it with an F and say it like an F. So, okay. Dray horse, draft horse, same difference. Anyway, the king has lap, which is leaped or leapt. Fray, which would be from, off his steed. H-I-Z is the steed is spelled S-T-E-I-D, steed. Outbraid his trenchant brand. So I think it would be drawn out. His trenchant means cutting. Actually, have you ever heard that like a horrible reviewer said, boy, that's trenchant, or actually philosopher, that's trenchant analysis. It just means cutting. Tranche. You ever heard of tranche de la vie, slice of the life?
I guess cutting a trench would be...
Yeah, exactly right. There we go. And that's one of the weird things why my Latin teacher said, do not transliterate. Because if you were reading this, or if you were reading French, tranchant, or something like that, and it said trenching, you'd be in trouble. And so that's a good policy. Don't transliterate. Generally, when you adopt a word from another language, it's a secondary or tertiary meaning.
Hi, baby.
That's not the original meaning.
That was nice of you.
Okay. Brand, I think, is a sword. They don't even have it footnoted. Outbraid, I think that would be drawn, yeah. On my pack of hounds, who on my pack of hounds doth feed, moan day beneath this. Okay, moan is must, day is die, D-E-Y-E. Beneath would be beneath. Vilka, hand. I think Vilka would be the like hand, which would be this hand. So said, so done. Okay, there we go. It's say, said, say, doon. Eastonders heard. The stonder, this, I think that's the standard by, the people standing by, bystanders, there we go. Heard full many a mickle stroke. Mickle means great, I think. Let's see what it says. Heavy is what they say. It's probably related over much, but it's like you run across it in dialect, and I think it's similar to stuff you'll find in Scandinavia. Sounds like the flapping of a bird. Sounds. There's no T in there, S-O. But I think it sounds. Let's see what's, yeah, sound. Like flapping of a bird, a struggle and a choke. Out of the cave, scarce fet they it. Fet. I think that means to get or something like fetch. There we go. Just an old-fashioned word for fetch. With pow, I think that's pull and push and how, which should be a hewing or something like that. Oh, it's haul, okay. Whereof I've drawn a little bit, but durst not draw it all out, which is all A-U. And that's all. There we go. I got much of it.
Yeah, all right.
Footnotes help with some of the reading weird things.
I hope you enjoyed that little lesson from James.
Too much linguistics, not enough poetry, but yeah, I mean this guy's good. That's kind of like old-fashioned stuff.
Yeah, he was trying to do something like
Chaucer. More
Chaucer,
old-fashioned than Shakespeare.
That's
it's
awesome.
Not quite as old-fashioned as Chaucer, but believe me, it's better than Chaucer.
Yeah.
Hey, Chaucer is considered like one of the world's classics. He didn't even know how to write English poetry. Okay? It's sacrilege, but there you go. You know, I'm going to check out how he wrote prose and how he wrote poetry, and he inverted.
Yeah, well, I know, but whatever. Okay, I have 6 minutes to try to get through this. So The Crow. I put this on the top of the stack because, honestly, The Crow, the original movie was, it seemed to be important to a lot of people somehow. It wasn't to me, but a lot of people were into it, whatever. And with this, it's not just the movie length, it's much longer.
Oh my God.
They did a way better job as far as 1 hour 51 minutes, so quite a bit longer.
Well, it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought they did a great job. So if you want to watch The Crow, why not watch this one rather than the original movie?
Who was starring in it? Anyone we know? I think it was Heath Ledger's original role, right?
I couldn't tell you, so you can look that up online. Blink Twice. So this one has Channing Tatum in it. And some other people, whatever, I don't know. He's the big star in this one, though. And
the original G.I. Joe. No, original G.I. Joe. Okay.
But yeah, this movie was okay. I don't really like the message because it's something like enslave your slaver or something, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that message.
Sounds a little Marxist to me.
Alt-right, Age of Rage. This was actually a pretty good documentary. It took me a while to watch it because I didn't want to. These are the kind of things James watches. I don't watch this stuff.
Believe me, I don't like watching it either, but I feel it's my duty as a world citizen to watch this horrible, horrible stuff. Watch the world getting ready to go down in flames. I watched it, and it's just this is reality for us now. Anyway, Godzilla -1. I wrote double acrostics while this was on. And if you know anything about Godzilla -1, it's in subtitles. So I
didn't watch it at all.
No.
I'm not into that. Like, I did watch the beginning a bit, and I was like, yeah, that's good special effects and whatever. I'm not into that. So, and plus, I thought about just turning this off because, frankly, I don't want to sound mean. But Japanese, as far as languages of the world go, I think it's the worst sounding language out there. So having, not watching this and just listening to it while I'm doing acrostics, I'm like, oh, this is dreadful. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about that.
There really is a difference. They say with German, one of the keys for getting a German accent is going like this.
Oh, really?
What are you, and I think it's in Thomas Mann, Der Zauberberg, or otherwise known as the Magic Mountain, where I think he says something like the Russian accent sounds like someone's got a kind of a cold, Nyep, nyep, nyep. A lot of palatalization. So, nyep.
So, you have 3 minutes.
Oh.
You want to talk about Age of Rage or any of the other shows that I brought up?
What did they have to say about
well,
doing a lot of acrostics while
they interviewed some of the people on both sides of the...
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they
That's
did.
kind of weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that's why I gave it such a high rating, really, even though I'm not into that, watching that sort of thing. I thought, well, this is kind of informative because you get interviews on both sides of, like, with the...
That can get you in trouble.
Antifa and the right, and they're saying, well, there's like just a very little amount of the right wing that's Nazis, right? They're saying there's a lot of people in the right wing that aren't really scary or whatever.
That sounds
I
a little
don't
bit
know.
like Trump.
And
saying-
well, that's themselves saying that, right? They're being interviewed, so what are they going to say? Oh yeah, right. But
like that idiot from Alaska who's running his 2 dogs unleashed in the Warden Park. He was saying, I'm senator. You can't be senator and support Donald Trump. Just like you can't be senator and support Bernie Sanders.
I don't know. It is weird. I don't understand how you can be alt-right and support Donald Trump, though.
Depends on what you mean by alt-right.
I don't know. I mean, why would, like, people who are really feeling patriotic about America want to be supporting somebody who's
crazy.
like
They're
Putin's
crazy.
running
Make
the
America
country.
great again. It should be
By
called
having Putin run
Maka.
the country?
Yeah.
Like,
It should be
doesn't
called
make sense.
America a colony again. A colony of in this case, of one of the weaker. It's not even a superpower anymore, aside from having atomic bombs. Economically, it's less powerful than Canada. Russia is. Huh? Check it up if you don't believe me. So it should be called MACA, Make America a Colony Again. I don't know what they're thinking of. Anyway, I'll talk about it more.
Well,
I'll talk
30
until
seconds if you want to talk
people's
about
ears
it.
turn blue and fall off. It reminds me of what Donald Trump said after there was a riot where someone got killed, a few people got killed.
Well, they talked about that, the woman Heather that got hit. I'd never heard about it. She was a white woman. Did you know that?
I figured so. But anyway, Donald Trump said there are good people on both sides.